Hi, everyone, and welcome to Lost in the Funhouse with Greg Bow.
And Blondie.
And a scarecrow.
Hey, everybody. Today's a really special episode. We're really thrilled. We have an interview with my pal, Vic Carrabotta, noted artist extraordinaire who's worked for some of the greats. Worked for Marvel Comics before it was actually even Marvel Comics. He worked with Stan Lee and
Jack Kirby.
Yeah, Jack Kirby. I mean, Jack Kirby got him his job.
Yeah, just throwing those names down.
Yeah, just throw those names out there. But, he's an inspiration to me because, I see him at these cons that we go to, and he is just such a wonderful guy, and he's become such a great friend. And if you ever get a chance when you're at the con and Vic is there, take a time. Go up and get a piece from him that he has done. They're gorgeous. It's like a time capsule, a window back into those early days at the Marvel Studios. It really is just amazing. And I mean, I've gotten goosebumps before standing there watching him draw. Just because it's like I've just stepped into a time machine and gone back in time and get to watch one of the masters work live and over their shoulder.
And he's so nice.
Isn't he, though? I mean,
so
he's
nice.
great.
I mean, he's such an approachable person. And, I mean, he's got caboodles of stories to tell you about, all the comics that he's done. And
I mean, he was there in the beginning.
yeah. I mean, just an interesting person to talk to. And then you got to think he's 90 years old.
Yeah.
He's 90 years old
Wow.
and still doing the comic conventions. So
And he loves it.
Think about that when you're dragging yourself into a comic book convention and you're so tired.
I had to.
You're so dead.
I'm sitting there, I'm so tired, and I look over at Vic, and he's up and doing a dance on his table, I mean, he's not doing that, but man, I mean, he was sitting over there at one point when we went over to sit there and catch up with him and interview him for a little bit. When we first got there, we'd talked to him the day before, and I'd been talking to him for a while about it, and he's just such a giving guy. And he was like, yeah, sure, Greg Bow, anytime, anything for you guys, whatever you need. And so we'd asked him on, Saturday night. And we said, hey, tomorrow morning, we're going to get here a little bit early. And before the doors open at Soda City Comic-Con, we're going to interview you. Is that cool? He said, absolutely. Well, we got there, and as oftentimes happens to us artists, he had gotten like a stack of commissions he was working on, and he had one that he had to finish up for that morning.
Yeah,
and
he was already in that zone, so he's kind of like, can I go ahead and get this down?
Well, exactly. I said, you ready to do the interview? He goes, can I finish this? I've got to do an Incredible Hulk sketch first on a Planet Hulk blank sketch cover. So immediately I'm thinking, oh man, we're gonna have to shove this thing till
This is
3
going to be
o'clock
another
in the
hour or
afternoon,
two.
something like that, And he said, it won't take me long. It'll take me about 20 minutes. And I just looked at him,
Okay.
I was like, what? Seriously? 20 minutes? And I sat there. I couldn't help but not sit there and watch him. Not only did he sketch out the Incredible Hulk, but he had the Hulk fighting like 5, 6, 7, or 8 villains. There's all kind of stuff going on. Big action scene. It was truly amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's got so much talent. So much talent. And like you said, just such a sweetheart, such a sweet guy.
Yeah, and we do have to go ahead and say that during this interview, this was before the convention started, but, everybody's in there getting ready for the day to begin. So we do have to just go ahead and apologize for some of the noise.
Random sounds and noises.
Noise in the background. But, of course,
It'll give ambiance.
We did promise to give you the behind the scenes. So before you get to come into the comic convention, this is what we're doing.
You'll hear pencil sharpeners going. You'll hear people banging and putting stuff up, with their booths and coming in and out of the door and talking. And this is before any of the fans are allowed onto the floor. So it was kind of a
sounds like we're having a party
time
in there before everybody gets in, but
yeah.
we did the best we could.
Yeah, it was, but it's live at the con, and this is what we promised you guys, is to kind of give you guys a peek behind the curtain, so to speak, at what goes on. Because I mean, when the doors open, everybody's kind of mad dash into the main convention area, and it's we all sit around before the fans get in there, and we walk and say our hellos to all our buddies, and we get all our last minute stuff together, finishing up last minute commissions and artwork. I usually am known to Blondie will be setting up stuff at our table, and she'll turn around and I'm on walkabout.
Yeah.
She's like, "Where did you go?"
Kissing hands and shaking babies.
Yeah. Such is the life.
We've got a story about babies later, but we'll get to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We'll get to that later.
The blue baby.
But we'll go ahead and let you listen to our interview now.
And with that, this is Mr. One of the all-time greats, Mr. Vic Carrabotta. Hey everybody, this is Greg Bowe, and I'm here with Blondie, and we're at Soda City Comic-Con in Columbia, South Carolina, and it is a personal pleasure with me today because I'm sitting here with one of my favorite people in the world, Mr. Vic Carrabotta. Vic, welcome.
Well, good morning, Greg. Well, good morning, dear.
Hey.
And here I am with a pencil in my hand already.
As always.
It does the talking too, by the way, sometimes. You know?
You guys have to understand, I've been sitting here hovering like a vulture over Vic. Vic said, "Hey, I'm sitting here working on Incredible Hulk. Give me about 20 minutes." And I'm like, "What?" I've sat here and he has drawn out this beautiful cover on a Planet Hulk blank sketch cover, and I'm in awe of this. This is just incredible.
I mean, this is not just the Hulk on here. This is like multiple characters. I mean, this is like
I've got multiple characters on there. He's fighting this dragon or whatever it is here made up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, this is going to be awesome once you get
It's
it.
a compilation of what's inside the book, by the way.
And this is a commission? Someone?
Well, yeah, sort of.
Okay.
That's awesome.
It's just a pencil sketch, That's about it, yeah.
Well, we have been wanting to do this for a while and bring this to our podcast, which is called Lost in the Funhouse, and because we're always lost in the Funhouse. And we think, this is a podcast kind of about behind the scenes at the Comic-Cons and things like that. And, it's just, I've mentioned before on the podcast how much I love sitting over your shoulder and watching you draw because it's just an amazing thing. So I'm fanboying out right now. So.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. I'm 90 years old.
I know, that's amazing.
So when I got right to it, of course I knew Stan Lee.
Yeah.
I knew him very well, as a matter of fact.
That's just incredible. I mean, you were there in the early days of comics.
Atlas.
Yeah.
Stan started with Atlas first of all, then
Right.
it turned into Marvel, and then a lot of my work, of course, was pawned off to different comic books.
That's amazing. What was your...
Actually, today I see a lot of stuff in books I've never heard of.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Listen, I'm a lot younger than you, and I see stuff in books I've never heard of.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times I have to look it up on my phone when somebody asks for a commission. I don't know the character or whatever.
Right.
What would you say that your favorite thing that you've ever worked on in comics?
Well, I'm noted for doing the westerns, you know that.
Absolutely.
But after I got back into the comic book industry, which is about 2.5 years ago,
Right.
I started drawing everything. But I usually draw these other characters or the superheroes the way I want to draw them. I'll never draw them the way they actually look like,
Right.
What makes me different, But, so I have fun doing that. But I really like Batman.
Yeah. Batman's cool. I'm partial to Batman
Batman's my
myself.
favorite,
Yeah.
And it was way back. It was Kid Colt, and
Yeah.
And then I did a lot of journey into mystery stuff, a lot of spooky stuff to get me awake at night,
Oh yeah. See, that's after my own heart.
Yeah. Scared the hell out of you guys, didn't it?
Yeah, oh, it did. It did. And I mean, that's the stuff I grew up on. And, that's really what got me into drawing comics was that scary stuff. A lot of people think it was the superhero stuff, but it was the scary stuff really that got me into it.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
I love your work, by the way.
What?
I love your work.
Oh, you're too kind.
No, I mean, I'm serious.
You're too kind. I'm glad I have that recorded for posterity because y'all can't see my face is just like totally going red now.
Oh, yeah, he's off and going.
Because y'all know how I love Vic. So. Well, how from the early days in comics when the industry started out till now in comics and what it's become here, all of these cons, I mean, you can practically do a con or go to a con almost about every weekend.
Yeah.
How do you see that? Because you've seen it all come and go, really.
Well, there's a good and bad to everything,
Right.
The good is basically that all these guys are working now, whether they did comics or not.
Right.
and everybody's working,
Yeah.
which is good. The bad part is that it's lost its integrity
Oh, yes.
in many ways, as much as I hate to say it. And I'm not even sure that Stan himself was thinking that that's the way it was going to happen.
Right.
Because they took a lot of these superheroes, they just took away from him, including the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
When he filmed the Hulk, I spoke to him. They were filming it.
Right.
And how you doing? I would call him and say, how you doing, Stan? He said, well, I'm very disappointed. These guys are something else. They just tell me to sit down and shut up.
Oh, no.
Really? Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of it is just it's unbelievable,
That's sad.
And I don't think he was that happy
Yeah.
doing this stuff. He was happy in the old days, and he was a very good writer.
Right.
Stan Wright. I mean, I have to tell you, working with him one-on-one as I did,
Yeah.
he could write.
Really?
He could really write, and I think he was enjoying it too at that point. It's when it got taken away from him,
I mean, it's like taking away somebody's baby, really.
Yeah.
With creativity,
Yeah, absolutely.
When somebody steals your stuff.
But it's good and bad. It's good and bad and everything,
Right.
And it's good that I'm alive. That's
absolutely.
to see it happen, was something else,
I know, because you're getting to see like some of these heroes and stuff in comics, not even just the superhero comics, but, some of the old horror comics, westerns, being brought to the big screen in Hollywood and movies.
Exactly.
And a whole new generation, yeah.
What's that like, seeing the characters that were only in comics, now seeing them on the big screen, seeing them come to life?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't see many of them.
You'd rather
I should, But it's a lot of action, great stuff like that, And that part is good. When I get a chance to see a movie, I catch it on the set, But I'm always working.
That's great. See, that's wonderful. That's amazing. And guys, whenever you see Vic Carrabotta at a con, be sure, take my advice, come over, get a commission from him, get some prints from him, and just sit there and come talk to him. And if you get a chance, because I've done this so many times and I feel so lucky, I'll just kind of stand over his shoulder and watch him work. And it is a thing of beauty. I mean, it just really is. And it really, your work really takes you back to a time when comics were more pure and more, the art was just, not pure in the sense of, because we had all the scary stuff. Y'all had all the scary stuff and stuff like that. Because like I said, it kept me up, nightmares and whatnot. But it's just, pure emotion and pure talent and creativity. Whereas today, I think it's more commercially driven.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Like I said, and there were not that many in the comic book field. And you had to be really selective, very selective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were telling me a story one time about how you got into it.
Well, that was an amazing story in itself. I had a portfolio that I developed,
Sure.
And my wife at the time, one of the wives. But anyway, she convinced me. Says, well, you got to do something better than just being a plain laborer, which was
right.
I worked on construction. I was a bricklayer.
Wow.
And I just put a portfolio together.
Yeah.
And the best I could, I made a homemade desk, and my mentors were, of course, Steve Canyon, Milton Caniff, the old guys, Prince Valiant.
Right.
And I said I should always draw their stuff, try to assimilate the way they would work, But anyway, it ended up where I ended up seeing Jack Kirby.
Right.
And my wife was always with me in New York, and we went to. He was looking at my work, and he says, "Yeah, it's pretty nice." He says, "But he says, I'll call you, don't call me."
Yeah.
So I knew that was coming. I mean, I was a terrible artist, I think. And he walked out in the lobby.
Yeah.
And my wife was with me all the time, like I said, and she was already showing.
Oh yeah.
Like 8 months pregnant. And he walked. I introduced him to my wife. I said, "Jack, this is my wife, Connie." He looked and he did the double take. He looked at it. He just stopped. And he says, "Oh," he says. As a matter of fact, he says, "Have you seen Stan Lee?" And I said, "Yeah, I tried to get in there, but I couldn't get near him."
Yeah.
And he said, "Wait a minute." So he goes back to his little cubby hole, and he took this time to do it. He was really nice, and he wrote a letter, and he sealed it.
Oh, wow.
He says, here, take this back to Stan now. Now, even that's a little strange till today because they weren't really getting along that well.
Right.
Stealing characters back and forth and so forth. But yet he did that, and I don't know. I could never figure that out. But anyway, I got in to see Stanley.
Oh, that's amazing.
And he's got this letter open, he's reading. He said, well, Jack says you're a good artist. I said, yes, sir. Would you like to see some of my work? And I'm unraveling my little portfolio. He said, no, not at all. He said, here. He threw a script at me, The House on the Hill.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And that disappeared a long time ago. That's the one there, yeah.
Yeah.
But, and that was the beginning. He gave me a job, one every week. That's why till today, people say, how could you have done so much work? And these other guys, because the other guys they had leisure time, like a month to do a job,
Yeah.
And they took time to, which I had hoped that I could be that way too, but no, he saw I was fast.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty fast.
I know you're pretty fast. I mean, listen, he said 90 years old, and like I said, I can't say this enough. He has sat here and done an entire Planet Hulk, Incredible Hulk with multiple character sketch covers in a matter of minutes while we were sitting here shooting the breeze waiting to start the interview.
It's amazing.
It is.
I
It's
amaze
amazing.
myself sometimes.
Well, you should. It amazes me.
It comes out, Grego.
Yeah.
It just comes out. And anyway, that was the beginning. And till today, people, like I say, will look at the website and go to Google, Vic Carrabotta and so forth. But it has all stuff. There's stuff there that I don't even remember doing.
Really?
I mean, it is amazing.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, it's just, it really is, guys, just amazing. And try, if you can, if you see Vic at one of these cons, he's got loads of stories. He's a wonderful guy. He's a personal friend of mine. His work is incredible. And I'm going to tell you, stop by, take the time, see him, get
I
a
paid him
commission.
to say that,
Yeah, the check's in the mail. Well, Vic, thank you so much for taking time with us today, and I
Yes.
appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
man.
Kevin.
It was so
It's
nice
always
to
great
meet
seeing
you.
Pleasure meeting both of you, too.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. He is just like I said, he's such a great guy.
Yeah, and like we said, go ahead and when you see that he's going to be at a convention, go say hi. Get he's got lots of sketches there at the table.
And some prints that he's done.
Prints. You can look through. He had actual like originals, or I don't know if they're originals,
Well,
but
what he told me is that a lot of his originals got damaged or lost over the years.
Yeah.
Because you got to think this. There's got to be some understanding for that. Look how long ago this was. So what he's done, and I've sat there at some of these conventions and watched him recreate these covers. So
that's just amazing.
This would be the closest. A lot of those covers no longer exist on planet Earth. They're gone from existence. But you will have, by his own hand, as close to the original as you possibly can. And trust me, it is they're things of beauty. They really are. I have. You can tell I'm in the Vic Carrabotta fan club. I hold him in the highest esteem. He's a gentleman, an artist, and just all around great guy.
Oh yeah. But speaking of the convention that we were just at,
Soda City.
yeah, it was a great convention.
Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh!
Special
So
shout out
many
to
people.
Donald Brock and the whole crew out there. They did such a good job putting this thing together. The show's growing every year, leaps and bounds. Each year's busier than the one before. I just can't say enough good things about it.
Oh yeah.
And especially all the fans that came out to see us. We stayed busy.
Yeah, the whole weekend. Saturday and Sunday, it was busy both days.
You had
So-
some great costumes you debuted there.
I did. I had my Harley Quinn / Alice in Wonderland
With the White
with
Rabbit.
the White Rabbit, who was dressed up as the Joker.
Yes, he was.
And then I also had my Eeyore.
Yeah, my wife loved that.
It was
It
cool,
was
right?
so fun doing that character. I had a hard time staying in character because one one of our fellow artists did go and get me coffee first thing that morning. So it's hard for Eeyore to be hyped up on coffee. It doesn't go very well. But
I can't even pronounce his name. He's a good friend of ours, longtime friend on the con. I just call him Fo.
he said call him Pooh.
Pooh. All right. Well, I'm gonna
So
say
that
Pooh.
was like
So there was Pooh and Eeyore.
Yeah,
See?
Pooh and Eeyore.
Yeah.
So Pooh got Eeyore some coffee.
And he's a great guy. I mean, he's really talented. I've got one of
yeah.
his sketches in my studio.
But but it was fun trying to stay in character as Eeyore, and I had my tail in my hand walking around.
I stole it at one point.
Yeah, he stole it at one point, and
as
yeah.
I'm known to do. International hooligan.
I'm just walking around the con, and every time somebody would talk to me, and they're like, "Oh, you lost your tail," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Hey, speaking of which, where's my
tail."
international hooligan jingle?
It's in the works.
Yeah, likely story. We'll see.
How many jingles have I given you guys to date?
I know the last one.
I just want to point that out.
I judge you by where my international
I just want to
hooligan.
point that out.
Hey, our last episode was
That
pretty
is true.
close to being a musical.
Yeah, it really was.
You're on to me.
I see what you're doing.
If you haven't listened to that episode, please go back and listen to our previous episode.
What the heck was that?
That was
Giggle juice.
That was a plug.
She's into the giggle juice again.
I'm sorry.
But no, the con was, it was a great con. Oh, when we got down there to set up in Columbia, it was like 106 degrees.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
I sent a text. I took a picture of it in the car, on the little thing with the temperature, and I sent it to Brad out in Alaska.
Yeah.
And it says, and I put under it, I said, keep in mind that's the temperature, not a radio station.
Oh yeah, and because everybody was loading in on Friday, they had all of the doors open. The big dock doors on the back open.
And the air conditioner wasn't on.
No air conditioning.
It was bad,
so,
man. I'm
Sounds
telling you.
rough.
Oh, it was.
At least we got to set up on Friday, which is always nice to get set up before the con starts.
I was
but
hallucinating. I thought I saw a group of Jawas go shuffling by.
it was really, really hot. But the air condition was nice and cool on
Tuscan Raider.
Saturday and Sunday.
I had to battle it for my seat. But, even with that, I mean, they were so helpful getting us in and getting us all the right parking passes and
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
whatnot. Yeah. So,
Yes, they had designated parking for the vendors and artists, which was
Brock, you did a
which
great
was
job
new.
again.
That
Yeah.
was awesome.
You did a great job again. Thanks. It was really good. And then, the whole thing, I mean, it was just literally just packed. But we had all kind of cool little wild stuff happen.
Oh, I know. We had, and we're going to put this picture up on the Facebook page and Instagram, but you had to have been there.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had it was a furry, but it had a skull head. It was kind of weird, which that's what I'm saying. You probably have to see the picture to know what I'm talking
I
about.
still thought I was hallucinating.
But it walked by and just stopped at our table and was playing a ukulele.
Yes, we got serenaded.
Just-
Really?
Not something you see every day.
That's new.
Yeah,
that's
what we
new.
said. That's new.
I looked as soon as he or she shuffled on off. I looked at Blondie and I said, "Write that down in the notebook
Yeah.
of experiences we have had." But it was really cool.
It's always fascinating, and I love at the cons where they have the R2D2 and somebody's doing the remote control, but
Yeah.
you never can see.
Yeah, it's like a
Who the
one-handed deal.
And they're hiding.
Spoiler: nobody's using a remote control. That's actually R2D2.
My
I'm
bad.
sorry. Yes.
My bad.
Blondie.
But it always looks like the R2D2 is walking around, and then he'll just like pick a random person and just start following them.
Yeah.
And so we've got a funny story that one of our fellow artists,
Yeah.
do you call what do you? They're not an
He's a
artist,
writer.
a writer.
Yeah.
He was sitting at the table behind us and was telling us a story about the R2D2, and said when he first started coming out to the comic conventions, his wife was not very familiar with the geek culture, and he was slowly working her in, never seen like the Star Wars and all this stuff. So, yes, slowly working her in.
I like how it's the Star Wars.
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
Star Wars. Did you see that?
That's what I was laughing at.
Did you read about it on the Facebook?
The Facebook. I'm sorry. Star Wars. I was going to say the Star Wars movies. I had something I was going for.
Sure you did. Likely story. I believe it's a cover-up. I smell a cover-up.
Dark Sith.
Goodness.
But anyway, he said when he one of the first cons that they went to, his wife was walking around and the R2D2 started following her down the aisles, and she's running. She's like, "It's following me!" And then he was like, "It's R2D2." She's, "No, it's following me."
I just picture her high stepping it through the con, not knowing what
Not knowing what it was. There's just like this little robot.
This
just
is an
chasing.
assassination drone.
Right?
But I mean, if you've never seen Star Wars,
The Star Wars.
The Star Wars,
There's this trash can following me, you guys. I don't know what to do.
and if you haven't seen Star Wars, that means welcome to Earth. This is your first day here.
Right. Yeah, I tried to hand it my old wrapper, but it wouldn't take it. It ran away.
You chased the R2D2.
Yeah, who's after who now?
He's, I'm not a trash can.
This is not the scarecrow you were looking for.
When I said my droid would take you places, I never said it would be places you wanted to go.
It wasn't pleasant places. Nightmare fuel.
Oh yeah. But we also had the experience with the blue baby.
Oh, speaking of nightmare fuel,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was really weird.
what's the deal with this
So girl,
blue baby here?
yeah, the girl, she walked up and
real nice girl.
yeah, and the baby was painted.
Was she blue?
No, she wasn't.
No,
blue.
she wasn't blue. The girl wasn't blue, but she was holding this. The baby was blue, and it was
It was painted to be an avatar.
yeah, an
One of those
avatar.
avatar things.
Okay.
An avatar baby.
Right.
But when she was holding it and she's standing at our booth and just, talking, about art and asking about the comics and the prints and everything. But she's holding this baby and I'm just staring at it. And first off, this is not a real baby. This is,
It wasn't?
no, it wasn't.
I thought you were talking about somebody painted a real baby.
No, somebody painted
I thought
me.
it was a real baby.
That was not a real
I'm ruining her whole
I
gimmick
know
here. Go
you're
ahead.
ruining it. But
Sorry.
I had to say that because we keep talking about this blue baby and how she's holding it, and
Yeah, and I'm
I'm
just
fixing
like-
to talk about the creepy eyes, and I was like, first off, this is not a real
It
baby.
was this realistic doll. It was almost something like...
It looked just like a real
it
baby.
did. Same weight,
Did you hold it?
Yes.
Yes, and when she handed it
That's
to me,
right.
it was so weird.
That was the
I
picture.
instinctively...
Okay. Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah, I
I did
instinctively
see that
held it like
picture.
I would hold a baby. I
Right.
supported the
Hold the
head.
head. Hold the head.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. And I'm like, what is going on down
It
there?
felt like a real baby.
But while she was holding it, standing at the booth and talking to us, and she kept kind of like turning back and forth.
And one point she was like holding it by the leg.
Yeah, well, that was
Upside
kind
down.
of
It was
creepy,
weird.
but but the eyes would almost look like they were following you, and
Yes.
they were so
I think you guys
creepy.
are just paranoid.
Yeah, but they were so creepy. But she was talking about how heavy the doll was, and that's when she handed it to us. And
this thing? Here you
yeah, there you go.
Fling.
It like bounced once on my table and landed in my arm.
But she did. She handed it to us like it was a real baby,
She
holding
did.
it and cradling
All
it.
careful like. Yeah.
And then
Right.
when I took it, of course, I'm like holding its head and everything, and it was like really heavy, just like a baby and everything, and it was just really creepy. But the eyes were
And it was
really,
just so weird. And it actually looked like it had been, I mean, obviously it had been painted, but it looked like it was a real baby that had been painted. Because, I mean, right there, like around the feet and the bottom of the hands, they had that pinkish hue, you know?
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
But you could see every little striation and line in the hands. and
Really?
all the folds. I mean, it looked realistic.
She spent some money on this
yeah.
thing.
Oh, yes.
I should have asked
It looked
her
like
who-
one of those,
who
like a
did it.
training
Airbrushed
doll. Yes. But it looked like one of those dolls like you would give to, like, I don't
That
even
had to have
know,
been an
but like a
expensive
training
doll to
dog.
begin
Had to
with,
be.
much
Like a
less
medical
all of the.
doll or something.
Yeah, some kind of medical doll or something like
Yeah.
that, because she said that she had it custom made,
Yeah, she did.
and that thing had to
Wow.
that thing had to be expensive.
That's a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have. We should have asked.
Yeah, you should have.
We
Maybe
just
that
we
was
just
the
wanted
baby's
to
name,
hold it.
Pretty
We didn't
Penny.
care about.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care how much this thing cost.
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't
Oh,
know if
and
she
the
tells
look
you. You
on-
might care.
and we'll post the pic. Well, I think no, the pictures are already up on Funhouse right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at the look on Blondie's face,
Yeah, it was a blue baby, and it was
Oh.
staring at me.
she looked so disgusted and
all
disturbed.
creepy looking.
And I got it. And
Yeah,
I
you
looked
look
all
like you were
creepifying.
gonna eat it or something.
I was hungry.
Well, it's a convention. It's hard to get food sometimes.
Oh, it was at this
Someone
one.
just hands you a baby. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
It was. I mean, because it was tough. Because they do their best at this convention, and I'm not knocking it because they really do their best. But there's just so many people, which is a good thing,
Right.
And the food court is up on the top floor, and they even give special prices to the artists and the vendors.
Sweet.
And
That's
I
always
think like
nice.
last year they tried a thing where they were going to deliver it down there to us, to our booths, to the people that don't have a Blondie that can say, "Hey, go get me some food."
Well,
And-
but this year they did offer
Oh, they
the
had all kind
sandwiches.
of offers. It was,
They did
it
do the
was
sandwiches.
really, 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 really good.
I mean, he really went all out for the vendors and the artists.
Yeah, he did. He really did. But it's hard even getting up because at a con that's that crowded, again, a good thing. It's difficult to even. It takes time to even walk across the floor to get to the restrooms.
Oh, I know.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like at the time you came down off the escalators for the first time ever at Heroes Con, Scarecrow,
Ooh,
and
yeah, that was new.
he came over our table. And literally, I think he was standing still and just kind of vibrated over to our table. He was shaking so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm strange.
I said, "What's the matter?" He goes, "All the people."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh,
It's too peoply in
I've
here.
been here for 3 hours. I just now found you.
Well, that would be true. At
yeah, that
Heroes
would
Con.
be true at Heroes Con." Well, we had some people that had trouble finding us at this one because even though, listen, in Soda City went all out. They even did a program, had floor plans as to where you could find the artists. I can't say enough good things, but some people didn't grab the programs, I guess, and they were
Yeah.
having trouble finding us. And I think our friend William Fripp was there and set up. I think he was actually set up at the con,
Never
and
saw
I
him.
never saw him.
Never saw him.
Yeah.
I walked
Isn't that
around.
weird?
Walked around several times.
Because he always has that really cool. He sings this. He calls it like the Ode to Gregbo song, and every con we're at, he sings it, and I love
my
hearing
gosh.
it. So it was
know.
wild. And he actually hit me up. He put, "I'm here and I'm available for interviews," but I didn't see it until we'd already left
I
because
did-
he had
yeah.
seen when we were interviewing.
I saw
Vic.
that.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, yeah.
we'll have to do some kind of interview with William. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But I do want to talk about something that has just been brought to our attention in the last few months
Yeah.
that I'm very passionate about.
Yes.
Missy's going to get excited.
She's climbing up. If you saw her in the studio, she's climbing up onto her soapbox right now as we
Yes.
record this.
Soapbox.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a mic stand that long.
We need a boom mic.
But so this thing that's just come to our attention at the 3 recent cons that we have been to, and we're not gonna name the cons. We're not gonna call anybody
Well,
out.
there's a reason. There's a reason for that, and it's because this is not the people that run the cons' fault. The people that ran the particular cons where this has happened at are really good people, run really good family shows.
Yeah.
And they had no way of knowing that these people were showing up. These people came in and got a booth under false pretenses.
Yeah. And when they, when you get a vendor booth, at a con, you just have to tell, your name, and you pay your fee, and probably, what you're planning on selling or something.
Yeah, they ask,
a
some
little blurb
general.
or something.
Some general
it's-
thing.
What are you trying to sell? And
It's nothing
and
specific or as
No,
for like a business license.
And
or
these
anything.
people, and these people who do this, what Blondie's about to start talking about, they're given just enough information to technically seem legit. So there's no way, if you guys who are out there listening had any idea of the planning that goes into these cons, if you're not somebody who's planned or been, in behind the scenes planning one of these cons, you really multiply what's in your imagination by at least 100. I mean, it's crazy. Usually over the period of a year, you have artists, vendors, musicians, food truck. I mean, just the venue, everything coming at you with emails and forms. And there's no way the form these people filled out would have never put a red flag up.
No,
to the people running the cons.
But what we've seen this, like I said, at
on the East Coast,
3 recent cons that we've been to on the East Coast, and I'm sure this is probably popping up in other places too. But it really all it is gambling, and I am just very, very, very much against this because I read up on what it is, and I've actually stopped at the table, watched it for a few minutes, and then I've watched a couple of YouTube videos on it and read about it because I wanted to understand how this game is played and how, I mean, it's pretty much a scam.
And for those of you listening, Blondie is an accountant. And when I have seen these things, I knew something was fishy, and I kind of had an idea, that naturally it was set up where you could not win, and that these people were scamming people, but I had no idea exactly how they were doing it. So I'm really thankful that Blondie put those accounting skills to work and went in and she's going to give a little... Gumshoe it up.
What's that? I hear a theme.
I hear a theme happening.
Girl with the deerstalker hat. Who's the girl with the spyglass looking at you? It's Blondie the Gumshoe. Yeah.
But yeah, so recent con that we've been to.
3 recent cons.
3 recent cons that we've been to
in the last year.
This has come up, and I mean, what it is, okay, I don't know if you ever look it up and you want to see what I'm talking about. A lot of the cons, I mean, if you see it at a Comic-Con, they probably are going to have different names, but there's been stories written up about this and, over 30 years, and it's really like an old school carny game, and they call it Razzle Dazzle. And you can look that up on YouTube. There's videos of it.
Razzle Dazzle?
How it works,
Right,
yeah.
That sounds so harmless.
It does.
Razzle Dazzle.
It sounds like jazz hands.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Looks so innocent. But if you're walking around a con and you see anybody, playing with marbles or playing with dice and winning.
And it's not
Little children.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. Or Dungeons and Dragons. Good call, yeah.
And to win prizes, this is not legit.
And they're set up in a really shady way, right? I mean, they have their booth there and they have all the prizes out, and they have just enough in their booth that they're actually, I think, selling to that when somebody from the con comes by, they're being very secretive about it.
Yeah. But, if you look on their table, usually you will see parts of the game. And the one that I had looked up, I think there's different ways to play this game, but the concept is pretty much the same. The ones that I looked up and saw on YouTube, they had a big board that had a whole bunch of little divots.
Didn't you say it's kind of like Chinese checkers?
I guess it's kind of like the little round little divots, kind of like Chinese checkers or whatever.
I don't know if it's politically correct to still call that Chinese checkers, but I'm going to anyway.
Know. Well,
we're not going to get off on that topic.
Anyway, yeah. I'm bored with the divots.
Okay,
board with divots.
The board with the little
marbles.
The little divots for the marbles. Yeah, and they've got little numbers on all of the little divots. and you have 8 marbles, and you shake them and throw them out on this board, and then, whoever is doing the game will quickly pick those marbles up and add up the numbers for where your marbles fell. And
faster than you can.
Faster than
Maybe
you
faster
can.
than most people can, not faster than Blondie over here can.
Yeah, because
She's a calculator.
the video that I saw, I mean, and even when I saw it at the at this convention that we saw it at, they were playing with dice, which pretty much same concept. But when they were counting and adding up your number that you got, they're picking the dice up so fast that, or like the marbles, they're picking them up out of the board so fast that you don't really have a chance to confirm the number that they're saying that you're getting.
Right.
So then they tell
bunch of
you,
hooey.
yeah, they tell you what your score is, which of course they're going to tell you whatever they want it to be, whether you score points or not, because these, there's another chart that they've got that says, okay, if your score was this is how many points you get. And you're trying to get, like, say, 10 points, you'll win a prize. And right off the bat, sometimes they offer and they let you do, like, 2 free throws. So you don't have to pay anything up front. You get free, 2 free throws. And
Yeah, they're baiting you.
and they're baiting you, because on one of those 2 free throws, you're going to get like a whole bunch of points. They're going to make it look really easy.
Oh, this is easy. Yeah.
And they're going to tell you, you're like, oh my gosh, nobody has ever got that many points on their first try. Like, wow,
Right.
you were really lucky. And so then,
Blah, blah, blah.
yeah. So then after that, the next rolls that you do are going to be like maybe $2 a piece. Each roll is $2. Right. But you're going to keep throwing in those $2, $2, and maybe you get points.
$50.
Maybe you get points, maybe you don't. And, they'll let you like inch up, but you're going to keep thinking in your mind how easy it was to get those 5 points.
So much for that Gregbo print.
So they've, and then there's another thing to it where they get you even worse is you'll see on their little scorecard that there's a magic number, and usually that's 29. And when I looked up, there's like the probability between the numbers that the marbles would land in and also dice. They have it figured up to where that number is going to be a number that can be hit very easily.
Wow.
And if you hit this 29 or magic number, whatever it is on the game that they have, that means you've now doubled your prizes. Oh, that sounds great, right? Now, if you hit 10 points, you don't get just one prize, which may be, the prizes they've got are like big screen TVs and like these really high dollar prizes.
Big enticements.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like all I got to get is 10 points. I only got to get like 5 more points. I'm so close to winning this TV. But then, okay, now you're not just playing for this TV. If you get your 10 points, you get one of the other big dollar prizes up here. But now each of your rolls is twice the cost. So where it was $2 per roll, now it's $4 per roll. But think, you've put all this money in there, and they'll keep telling you the only way you lose is if you walk away. Nobody else has got 5 points right off the bat. You must be like really lucky. And they've got you hooked, and you've got so much money in it that it's hard to just walk away.
Yeah.
And we have seen people like lose $400. We've even heard of somebody $1,000. The one that I watched on YouTube, he only had $175 with him, and he spent all of it trying to play this game because he was so close. They let him get up to, he had to get 10 points, and they let him get up to 9. He only needed 1 point.
I know the guy. I know the guy personally who lost the 400.
Yeah.
And you do too. And he's a really sweet guy. He's a good friend, longtime fan. And I was just appalled when I heard this. I was hot.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But, I just wanted to, tell everybody about this because apparently and like we said, this is not the convention's fault.
No, because as
This
a
is-
matter of fact, in the instances that we have been at a con where that has happened, and believe me, I mean, we see this, we see stuff that goes on at a con all the time. Okay. So anything that's out of the ordinary, usually we catch. This is how deceptive these people are. And we walk right, all instances, we walked right by it. It wasn't until the people who ran the different cons found out about it. And as soon as they did, they leapt into action and got rid of these guys, and these guys were out of there. So you've got to be thankful to these people who run the cons that they're going to police themselves and get these people out the door, these pariahs of society,
Yes.
because that's what they are. And, trying to ruin a good family time for everybody else. And, these guys, so if you see this happening, tell as many people as you know.
Yeah, tell
To be on
all
the
your
lookout.
friends not to play.
Exactly. It's not worth it. And if you see something like this that's questionable, please, please, please go and tell. If you don't know who it is that's running the con, come up to me and Blondie. Tell me and Blondie. Me and Blondie will go, we'll go tell the people that are running the con.
Yeah.
Tell
Blondie
an
in her,
artist or a vendor
Deer
or
stalker hat and magnifying glass.
Sherlock Blind.
Yeah.
Yes, I went there.
That's the jingle.
Oh my
Sherlock
God.
Blind. So, but yeah, I mean, you just want to. We want to drive these people out. They're not good
Yeah.
people.
We don't want our comic book conventions turning into
No,
the carnival type,
Right.
No.
They're family shows.
Yeah,
They are, yeah.
We just don't want to see it, and plus, it just really makes me upset because, for the people that do, that lost their money. I mean, that's money that could have been spent on, with the vendors and the artists.
Something they actually wanted in the first place.
Yeah,
they could have
something-
went home with something that would have brought them joy, something they could have looked at for
Right.
years to come.
Yeah.
And seriously, here's the way I look at it with these idiots. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if these guys are listening or somebody cues them into this and you're listening and you're aggravated at anything that Blondie's been sitting there saying about it, she researched it, pretend I said it, come say it to me. Because seriously, I'm that aggravated about it because behind the scenes, guys, there's dealers I know, like comic book dealers and toy dealers, and they spend a lot of money to come and set up at these cons. Travel, hotel room, renting a truck if they don't own a truck. They spend
not
a
cheap.
week.
No.
Well, they spend
To
no,
do
it's
these
not
things.
cheap, and they spend a week hand picking items that they think the people at these cons would like. And
Because everyone is different. Everyone
Yeah.
sort of has a different theme.
well, exactly.
In a way.
And for myself, I know Blondie will tell you, half the time when we're getting ready to go to a con, I'm still finishing up drawing, trying to get stuff done when she pulls up to the house to pick me up. So I'm working nonstop, trying to get, things that I believe people that come to these cons would like to see and like to purchase from me. And, sometimes I'm finishing up commissions or whatever. So for these people, these gambling people, they do nothing. All they do is travel around, throw some crap out on a table, and steal your money and walk out the door.
Yeah,
They have no talent on planet Earth. They
Yeah,
should just be banned from these cons altogether. But then again, like we said, they get into these cons under false pretenses, and then every con we've seen has the owners have leapt into action
nice.
and ejected these bad elements, these bad hombres from the building.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
All right. I think I can get off of my soapbox now.
you need help climbing down.
How was the weather up there?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
The view was beautiful.
Right.
She even drugged me up there for a minute. I just get angry about stuff like that.
I saw every razzle dazzle in the world.
Razzle dazzle.
I'm coming for you all.
Detective Blonde is coming for you. Blonde. Misty Blonde. You don't play this game? Only if it's shaken, not stirred. Oh, and this was funny. At one of the cons, again, we're not mentioning any names because I don't want any stigma to go to any of these cons because, again, it's not the people that run the cons' fault. But at one of these cons, I was over talking to a buddy of mine, and Blondie was right beside me, and I was like, where'd she go? I turn around and look, and there she's standing. The person running the con, the person who owned the venue or the manager of the venue, and the police were all gathered around talking, about to go kick these people out. And Blondie just magically, somehow or another, gets in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Because she's nosy and had to know what was going on.
I had to know what was going on, but I was walking by,
Minding my own business.
just minding my own business.
Like I do.
There I was.
There I was,
Yeah, we're pulling
as
a
Brett would
now.
say.
There I was.
Yeah.
I was just walking by.
Oh, wouldn't it have been great if Brett had been there at one of those?
Right.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God, just flipping tables.
Right.
Setting the tables on fire, slamming people through them.
Blondie, Detective Blondie.
She's a cop that doesn't play by the rules.
Because she's not a cop.
And she doesn't even play one on TV.
But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Or on a
Yes,
podcast.
you did. Hey, that is true. And what did they have at the Holiday Inn Express?
They had bacon on their
Yes.
breakfast bar.
Yes.
Continental breakfast with hot food. And all I had to do, I walked down first. I was eating my cereal, and I send a text message up, and I tell I tell Greg Bowe.
Dragging Brett into
I
stuff
know,
and he
Brett
ain't
wasn't
even here.
even here. I said, I tell Greg Bowe that they have bacon.
And a
I've
puff of
never
smoke, and I apparated right in front of the bacon line.
I know. he's
Y'all
like,
do not understand my affinity for bacon.
Oh, everybody at that Holiday Inn now knows your affinity for bacon.
Yeah, especially
because-
that little old lady I knocked out of the way to get up to the bacon bar.
Oh, Johnny.
Brett would be proud because,
Oh, my hip.
yeah.
But he comes and he sits down and he's eating the bacon and he's sitting there and his eyes are rolling in the back of his head and he's
I'm like, num, 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 num.
oh, and I'm like, what in the world?
Euphoria just abounds.
It was, man. I mean, I was like a kid again. I was sitting there eating bacon. I was like, oh, man, this is just so good. And through the rest of the con on Saturday, because up Saturday morning, the rest of the con on
He's
Saturday,
like, bacon.
every few minutes,
bacon.
I mean, even some of my other artist friends and stuff are sitting there laughing because they're like, man, you do love bacon. I said,
he's
yes, I
talking about
do.
bacon. But,
And
Just as that old lady on the
yeah,
floor.
but the whole
He loves
day,
the bacon.
so the whole day Saturday, I'm just going on
Somebody
and
gonna
on.
help me up. Been out here since this morning.
She was still there when we came in that night. But so, I just stepped over, got in the elevator, went up to my room to dream of bacon.
Help me up, you bacon freak.
Yes. So I'm sitting there, and all day long I'm talking about bacon,
Yeah.
and
So
that night as we went to bed, I was like, man, I can't
you
wait.
gotta wait. He was like, you
wake
gotta
me up
wake
plenty
me up.
enough time so I can go down there and get that good bacon.
So
And then what happened?
Sunday, I get up and I go down again first. So I'm eating my cereal and
And didn't even tell me.
I looked over at the hot foods and I'm like, uh-oh. The sign did not say bacon.
There's about to be an incident.
It said ham.
Oh.
And I was
Ham
like,
is not bacon.
uh-oh. So I thought, I'm not going to tell him because he'll just go slower getting ready.
And I would have. She is right. I would have.
So I didn't say anything, but then he walks down and he's putting his stuff down at the table and I whisper, there's no bacon. And he's like,
I thought she was kidding with me.
yeah, he's like, you're kidding. So I'm watching him and I'm just shaking my head like, nope, I'm not kidding. And I watch him walk over there and he raises up the little lid and he turns around and he gives me this look like I hid the bacon or something.
I'm still not so sure you didn't.
It was me, Sonny. It's payback for the hip.
It was like Scooby-Doo. I ripped the head off the bacon perpetrator, and it was that little old lady. And then I ripped the head off of her, and it was Blondie.
So then he comes back to the table and he's eating his ham and he's like, this is just a bacon tease.
Well, why couldn't you have been Detective blonde then and the gumshoe of the radio show and gone in there and found my bacon. It could have been the case of Greg Bo's missing bacon.
Don't forget to send in your stories, your funny con stories. We get them at the cons ourselves. We have hilariously funny stories ourselves and that we hear from our fellow artists and vendors. But we want to hear yours because we know you have them. Funny
and we're tired of our own stories. And we just tell each other the stories over and over again.
Yeah, same 3 stories, just over and over and over.
Yeah.
You want to tell everybody where we're going to be coming up? Oh, she's adding it up in her head because we
This is really
the
hard.
magic
I wasn't
of
prepared.
podcasts. We record this early.
Can you have a calendar on your Facebook?
I need to put
Like the next,
something like that because, the next.
This is what we do. We've got like the next 5 shows as a banner.
Why do we not have one of those, Blondie?
We need to do that.
Don't look at me. You're the one that keeps up with my calendar. Look,
Yeah, but this
seriously.
one will be out. Okay,
Is this not a fact? Is this not a fact? Everybody out there, they have learned not to even, they don't even, they'll come up to me and ask me if I'm interested. They'll say, hey, you interested in doing our show? I'm like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool. And then they're like, all right. And then they immediately turn to you and start setting up the date because they've learned.
Because they know.
They know.
do.
You don't know where you're supposed to be.
I don't. I really don't.
I'm the same way, really.
He will double book.
But rest assured, if there's bacon, I will be there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
if
If
you-
you want Greg Bo to be there, tell him that there's going to be
have
bacon.
Yeah, yeah. I do know one thing, though.
What?
Carolina Lore will be out in September.
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been working like crazy trying to finish this up. I've got all the stories from everybody. I've scored it all. I'm just working on the mixes and mastering now.
Well,
that's gonna be great.
maybe who do we need to know to maybe get a little preview maybe on the next podcast?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that was
Okay.
easy. That was easy.
We don't
we'll
have
see.
to know anyone. We don't have to bribe
guys,
anyone.
we've actually been over here in the studio on the hill. We've actually got a few little previews here and there. And let me just say, and not just because he's in the room and handing me a 20 right now.
Yeah, it is.
Or
this
have
is
you have
really
been
good.
very blessed to have been at one of his live concerts? You
Yeah.
have heard a few of the new songs. And
Yeah, that's true.
It may be Little Green Men for Blondie over here.
Oh, yeah.
See, he knows. I don't like Little Green Men.
She likes the song. She's
I like
just-
the song,
She's
Yeah.
just scared.
but I
of
don't
Little Green
like
Men.
the Little
Preface
Green Men.
that.
Whenever the
I see how it
Flintstones
is.
used to come on, whenever the Flintstones used to come on, and the Great Gazoo or whatever would fly into the into the set, Blondie would go into full meltdown.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you do have those Gazoo problems.
Kazoo.
Isn't it Gazoo? Is it Gazoo or Kazoo?
I don't know. Kazoo is a little birthday party thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing.
Well, yeah, I know. I think when I was little, I called him the Great Kazoo. I don't know.
But anyway, let's wrap this up.
Blondie's
So-
giving me the wrap up signal.
Yeah, it kind of goes like this, like I'm like cutting my head or something.
And
Like,
beheading is
she's
about
sitting
to
there
happen.
showing. She's sitting there into the microphone showing you guys. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys.
Hope you can see it.
you can
it.
see that, you know,
Yeah.
like that right there.
Yeah, she's almost figured out what a microphone is for.
There's no
She's close.
There's no
Nothing gets past Detective Blind.
there's no camera in this.
There might not be.
But anyway,
It's not a
back to-
giant selfie stick, Blondie. I'm sorry.
Dadgummit.
Her and her selfies. And if you look at pictures from our recent cons, you will see I am proven right. I'm vindicated.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Selfie addict.
Hey,
see them all,
nobody
too.
can see my phone. But anyway,
But we in the room have.
And you post them online and everywhere that will allow you to post them.
In rapid succession.
It's like bam, 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 bam. Oh, Blondie's posting again.
okay. Anyway, let's get back to send us your stories.
Yes.
You know, not making fun of me. And
Where do they send these stories?
And get lost in the funhouse at gmail.com. And you can also find us on Facebook. We're at Funhouse Podcast on Facebook. And Get Lost in the Funhouse on Instagram and Twitter. And you can listen to us on YouTube and anywhere that podcasts can be found.
Stitcher, iTunes, all that
Spotify,
jazz.
yeah, all those good ones.
You don't even have to be an actual detective to find them.
No, but
Well, I guess
if
for
you do find them, rate us, subscribe,
Tell your friends.
tell all your friends, listen to this great podcast.
And I guess for now, I mean, nothing left to say, but I guess it's time to get lost.
In the Funhouse.
We interrupt this record album to bring you some breaking news. Aliens have invaded the Carolinas. I repeat, aliens have invaded the Carolinas. They came down from the Brown Mountain Lights, and little did we know, they're actually little, and green, and men.
They say the truth is out there, but where did it go? Hidden in the static of an old radio, failed by pretense of governed events. Just when it's over, it happened again. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. They say the truth is out there, but do you want to believe in the midst of lies veiled by the smoke screen? And all the redactions will be disavowed. All the foil in the world won't save you from them. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights. There's fire in the sky tonight, we're unidentified, unsolved mysteries of bright lights.
This just in, the news we reported is a hoax. I repeat, a hoax. There is no such thing as aliens or, surprisingly, burly men in black. We now return you to your record album. This is WAH News. Good night. They made me say that. It's all true. Don't believe the lie!